Hi, and welcome to the Succession Link podcast series. I'm your host, Phil Flakes, co-founder at Succession Link. Today's podcast is focused on user feedback of the Succession Link platform from one of our premier members, Matt Cooper with Beacon Pointe Advisors. Matt is a founding partner at Beacon Pointe Advisors, the president of Private Client Services Group, and is also a member of Beacon Pointe's investment committee. In addition, Matt oversees Beacon Pointe Wealth Advisors, which is a subsidiary of Beacon Pointe. And prior to founding Beacon Pointe, Matt spent several years with a financial firm in Newport Beach. He's a graduate of the University of Southern California School of Business Administration with a bachelor's degree in finance and business economics. And during his time at USC, Matt served as the president for the Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity. And Matt remains a supporter of both the university and the national fraternity. Thanks for joining today, Matt, and welcome.
Thanks, Phil. I'm glad to be here.
So, Matt, it seems over the past few years, Beacon Pointe has enjoyed a lot of success and growth through adding quality advisors throughout the country. For the benefit of our listening audience and members of the Succession Link community, could you tell us a little bit more about Beacon Pointe?
Sure, Phil. Beacon Pointe is our RIA wealth management firm that we founded in 2002. It was myself and a couple other partners. And we've grown Beacon Pointe to, Beacon Pointe Advisors, that is, to a little more than $7.5 billion of client assets that we oversee, assets under management. And we have a number of endowments and foundations where we oversee all of their investments, as well as a very robust and large private wealth side of our business where we serve individuals, families, et cetera, financial planning, asset allocation, solving complex financial problems for families and individuals. More recently, in 2011, we started Beacon Pointe Wealth Advisors, which is a subsidiary branded exactly the same as Beacon Pointe Advisors, but it has a sole purpose, and that sole purpose is to help other advisors around the country both grow faster and create real certainty around their succession plan for themselves and their families, but also to help them fulfill their fiduciary promise to their clients and their moral obligation to their team. So everybody has certainty in the mix when it comes to the succession plan of the founders. So today we have Beacon Pointe Advisors and Beacon Pointe Wealth Advisors, all part of the Beacon Pointe family. In total, it's a little over $9 billion, and we've been at this now for close to 14 years, but we're excited. We feel like we're just getting started, so it's been fun.
That's great to hear, and from our perspective, having a unique and different value proposition for advisors to join and affiliate with the model is always good to hear. So if we could continue on with the affiliation model, what is it that makes it so unique for advisors that are in search of succession and continuity and or to join a firm?
Well, I think the key differentiator is, number one, to be clear, we're not a private equity-backed roll-up or consolidator. We're an active operating RIA wealth management firm, just like the partners who join us. And we're not doing this to sell the firm, either publicly or privately. We're doing this to create something much greater than ourselves and to create a great experience for clients and the advisors. I would say that our approach is arguably the most advisor and client-focused approach in the marketplace. Again, we didn't take any outside or third-party money. Also, when somebody chooses to join Beacon Pointe Wealth Advisors, it's a completely open books, transparent situation. So when they come in, they know where every dime is at all times, and they know exactly who their partners are going to be with certainty till the time that they decide to retire. Our goal is that when somebody merges with us, it's a cash flow neutral to positive event for them, that they have accretion in the value of the equity in their business just by moving from one to the other. And then they have an opportunity by leveraging the vast resources here at Beacon Pointe, as well as some outside opportunities that we have for them to grow much faster than they have in the past. And then finally, when it's time for them to realize their succession plan or put their succession plan into motion, it's as simple as giving us notice, and we have to have the entire enterprise valued. and whatever percentage they own, we have to buy them out at fair market value with no discounts applied. And so it's as though they're selling their business in the open marketplace, but they've alleviated and eliminated all the risk of their own clients, their own client demographics, their own business, if you will. So they don't have the discounts that might apply to an individual business with respect to their clients, how well they've institutionalized their business, what their next generation in the business looks like, so on and so forth. So it's all about joining, growing faster, maximizing their business experience, and then having real certainty for themselves, their team, and their clients when they decide to retire. I'd say the big differentiating point between us and any one of the private equity-backed roll-up models is we're not doing this to be sold, so they're not going to have a surprise somewhere along the time frame where they now have different partners. It's now a different culture. Their clients are experiencing something that they didn't bargain for. With our model, they're going to know exactly who their partners are the whole time, and they're going to know exactly what their succession options are at the end. And it's clean and it's neat, and we're all just going to have a great time doing it.
Thanks for that. And again, we certainly see Beacon Pointe's story and affiliation model as being unique in the industry, and certainly wish you nothing but success as you look to have advisors join the firm. So if I could switch gears for a moment here and talk a little bit about your experience with Succession Link. First off, how long have you been an active member of the Succession Link community?
So we've been an active member now for about 6 months. And what I mean by active is a paying active member on the site. We were aware of it early on because I've known the creators for some years, and we like, trust, and respect them, so we knew that something good was coming. And then about 6 months ago, we decided to pony up, if you will, and be a paying active member of the community.
Definitely great to hear. Good. And so what were your expectations before using the site? If you could maybe talk about, again, that phase from which you knew us and the platform early on to the point in time in which you committed.
Well, my expectations were that it would be a place where you would find multiple firms listed on a site that would express an interest in either selling, buying, merging, etc. I thought that the numbers would be more in the hundreds of advisors, being part of the platform and part of the Succession Link community. What I'm very pleasantly shocked to learn is, there's now close to 6,000 firms on the site, so it's exceeded my expectations in terms of the size of the market. I also think, I expected there to be some information available on the site and some ability to screen and filter, but I believe, now looking at the way that you can use the different filters on the site, that too has, gone past what I had originally envisioned. So pleasant surprises all the way around, but I expected something good from Succession Link, but I think it's a little better than I thought.
Great. Glad to hear it. And what was and is the primary objective with the Succession Link platform from your point of view?
Well, our model is transparent, and we look to find partners that are going to be additive beyond just the economics of mergers. So, our goal is really to be able to reach out to other RIAs and to engage them in conversation, to find out what their goals were and to learn more about what they were trying to accomplish, and to really create an actual community of people that Beacon Pointe was engaged in conversation with, and then from that to find the best fits in terms of partners going forward, people who really were excited about the future of their firm and growing, and then finding some a real solution to their succession for their clients and for their team. And we've been pleasantly surprised with the environment within the Succession Link platform, the ability to reach out to different firms and get responses. So in terms of our primary objective, engaging other RIAs, it's worked out beautifully.
Great. And so could you speak a little bit more specifically about how that experience has been so far, reaching out to other members of the community?
Sure. It helps. It helps that you can use the filters, so I can get past a lot of the initial questions that we were having early on in our endeavors, which was, the business mix. So, in other words, how much is commission and fee, and what types of managers or mutual funds do they use, or are they managing money themselves? So, we're able to filter to get to the firms that we want to talk to, and then we can filter by size and location, which really helps streamline the conversations. And then we make an outreach within the platform. There's a way that you engage them in conversation on the platform, and we wait for a response. And just the ability to do that, to get an initial question out to the party that you're interested in on the other side, and wait for their response, can save you a lot. This I don't want to call it a game, but this it is, in a sense, if you want to look at it as a game, it's all about the numbers. You have to have a lot of conversations when you're talking about doing M&A or partnering with other advisors, and so this helps really shorten the process. If you want to look at it in terms of kissing frogs, if you used to have to kiss 600 frogs and it would take you 3 years to do that, you can probably cut that time by 2/3. So the Succession Link platform has helped us just shorten our sales cycle, or actually shorten our match cycle, where we identify whether or not a firm is actually a good match, and if we should engage them in conversation further than just an initial outreach.
Good. And so how many people would you say that you've connected with so far on the platform?
I'd say we've connected with between 20 and 30. Most of those conversations have not gone past the initial outreach, and there's some reasons for that. I would say that there's more buyers than sellers on the site now. I think that's profound. And others just, it's not quite the right fit, or they're looking for a specific geography or something. But we have had some positive conversations too that are ongoing as we speak.
Good. Okay. And I know offline we had talked about one of the interactions that took place between you and another member of the community. Could you share that story for the benefit of everybody listening to this podcast?
Sure. And I think it's representative of how we do things. We filtered in the Succession Link platform. We filtered for. In this particular search, we were looking for advisors below $100 million that were in California and were 100% fee-based. And we found one in particular that's about 30 minutes up the road from us here in Southern California that had positioned themselves on the buy side within the site because they were looking to acquire other advisors. This particular advisor had less than $30 million in total AUM. And was experiencing a lot of frustration in terms of trying to add other advisors. But I didn't know that yet. Well, all I knew was that they were less than $30 million and that they were actively looking to, quote-unquote, acquire. And so I simply reached out and said, we're within 30 minutes of each other. I understand that you're looking to acquire other advisors. From what I can see here, within your profile, you look like your business is compatible with ours. Have you ever thought about aligning with a larger firm as a means to your end, and your end goal being to acquire other advisors? We might be able to help. The advisor responded, was intrigued by the question, and then we had breakfast actually last week, and they'll be coming back in here to meet with more people on the team to really talk through how we might be able to make that work and make it successful for all parties. So that's pretty indicative of the way we do things. We tend to ask questions on the site, wait for responses, and then go forward from there.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. And not to give up too many of your trade secrets, but it is great to see just how creative you are with opportunities that exist in there, or turning what would be perhaps not the ideal fit, meaning, if you were originally looking for somebody selling their business, if you're not finding that, you're turning an opportunity into somebody who is in the marketplace, perhaps on the buy side, and obviously talking about other ways to work with those advisors as well.
Yeah, I think, Phil, not to take the conversation in a direction we don't want to go, but I think the reality of mergers and acquisitions, or even adding advisors to your practice or firm, is it's a difficult practice. It takes a lot of time, and it can be the opportunity cost, if you're not successful, can be huge. And sometimes it's as simple as finding a partner who will allow you to have the autonomy and business experience that you want to have, but give you all the scale and resources you need to be more successful in your endeavor.
Well, if I could switch gears then back to the technology and features, I heard you mention search filters as you're looking for opportunities in your local marketplace, or perhaps even a little bit beyond that. But could you talk to me about, I guess, what features you've enjoyed the most on the Succession Link platform?
I think the ability to get it to the state specific, and the ability to see the mix of commission versus fee business is critical. Obviously, you want to know where you're looking, but knowing what you're looking at in terms of is it a commission-based business? Is it a hybrid business? Is it a 100% fee business? I mean, that in and of itself helps us save a lot of time in the process.
Good. And what could we do as a platform overall to improve?
Well, I think if you can narrow the search from state-specific to zip code specific, or a radius around major metropolitan centers, that would be a big help. That would further clarify geography. And then I think start to define firms 100 million to 250 million, or 250 million to 500 million, because I think there are plenty of firms in those ranges that also need solutions, whether they're on the buy side, sell side, or just want to have a peer-to-peer merger. I think a lot of great work can be done there. And then
great point.
The other thing I think should be encouraged is there are a lot of anonymous people on the platform, and I think I think that engaging these kind of conversations should be serious business, and so I think that those who are on the platform, we like to operate. Beacon Pointe likes to operate in a very transparent fashion. I'm happy to tell you everything we're doing and all the details on how we're doing our mergers and acquisition stuff. And I think it would be helpful if the people that join the site or active members of the site were encouraged to not be anonymous, but to actually share their name and firm name.
Got it. And do you find with some of the anonymous users that after a few exploratory emails or interactions that you are getting their specific contact information, and are they revealing who they are?
Sometimes. I think, a lot of the anonymous people would be the ones that are, if we ever just shoot a message off into space and we never get a response, it's typically from an anonymous listing. So maybe they weren't that serious about being on the site to begin with. I don't know what their motivations were. I assume that they're good. And again, smaller firms trying to do M&A, it can be overwhelming when you first dive in, and you realize that how much work it really takes, and how much focus and the type of opportunity costs that can be there if you're not successful. So I think many people dabble in this, and they never really take it to the next level. But I think that the Succession Link platform is a great way to minimize a lot of that opportunity cost and create a venue, if you will, and a community where people can really exchange in meaningful conversation and actually get something done without wasting a lot of time.
That's great to hear. Well, Matt, I certainly want to thank you for joining me today and being a valued premier member of the Succession Link platform, and obviously for all the candid feedback, some obviously areas for improvement on our end. And again, thanks.
Hey, thank you, Phil. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
All right. Well, we certainly wish you all the best and look forward to growing the community to help you accomplish the growth goals that you guys have there at Beacon Pointe.
Right on. Thank you. Take care.
All right.